Welcome to the Bodhi Academy. My name is Shrutika and today let us continue with our chapter Sexual Reproduction in Flowering Plants. So we have seen the fertilization, how fertilization occurs in plant, how male and female gamete fuse. So that we have covered in our last video. So today what we are going to see is post-fertilization events, as in what will happen after the fertilization of the male gamete with the embryo. So what happens in the post-fertilization event is it includes the endosperm and the embryo development, maturation of the ovules into seed and ovary into fruit. So this is called as the post-fertilization events, the events which occurs after the process of fertilization. So what will happen after fertilization is the endosperm and the embryo development. Then what will happen, the ovules will mature into seeds and the ovary will mature into fruit. So this is how the post-fertilization event takes place in the plants. So let us see first how embryo development takes place in the plants. So endosperm is the primary endosperm cell divides many times to form triploid endosperm tissues having the food reserve material. So endosperm is basically a nutritive tissue which forms to provide nutrient to the growing embryo. So that is the function of the endosperm. So endosperm is of two types. So two types of endosperm development, that is the free nuclear endosperm type, that is common method, and the cellular type. So free nuclear endosperm is basically, it is only the nuclei which are suspended into the embryo, and cellular endosperm is the nucleus will consist of the cell wall. So that will form the cellular endosperm. Then depending upon the endosperm, the seeds are of two types, that is albuminous and non-albuminous. So what is a non-albuminous seed? So endosperm completely utilized before maturation of the seed. So here the endosperm is absent. So this type of seeds are called as non-albuminous seeds. Example is pea, groundnut, and albuminous are a portion of endosperm remains in the mature seed. So here the endosperm is not totally consumed by the embryo. Here the endosperm remains in the seed. So this type of seeds are called as albuminous seeds. Example are wheat, maize and castor. So this is about what? Endosperm. Now let us see what is embryo. So embryo develops at the micropylar end of the embryo sac where the zygote is located. So embryo is basically formed when the egg cell fuses with the one male gamete. So embryogeny, early stages of embryo development is called embryogeny. The stages which the embryo undergoes for the developmental stages is embryogeny. The zygote gives rise to a proembryo and subsequently to the globular heart shape and mature embryo. So this is the stages of embryo development. That is, this is the first stage wherein the fusion takes place. Then the zygote is formed. The zygote will divide into two cells. Then it will form a globular embryo. Then it will further divide to form heart-shaped embryo, and then this is the mature embryo, which consists of the cotyledon, plumule and the radicle, wherein the plumule will develop into shoot, radicle will develop into root, and this part of the embryo, mature embryo, will develop into the seed cotyledons. So this is how the development of the embryo takes place in the plants. So embryo will consist of embryonal axis, cotyledons, plumule and radicle as shown in the previous figure. So monocotyledonous seed, it consists of a scutellum, coleorhiza and coleoptile. So this is a figure of monocotyledonous embryo, which consists of the scutellum, then coleoptile, the shoot apex, the epiblast, radicle, root cap and the coleorhiza. This part will give rise to the root, and this part will give rise to the shoot, and this part will give rise to the cotyledon. So this is how the structure of the monocotyledonous embryo is. And this is a dicotyledonous embryo, wherein this is the plumule which will develop into shoot. These are the two cotyledons. This is the hypocotyle region, this is the radicle and the root cap. So radicle will develop into root system. Now let us see seed. So after the maturation of the embryo, what will happen is the cotyledons will be formed, and that is called as a seed. So fertilized and mature ovule develops into a seed. So seed consists of cotyledon, embryonal axis, seed coat, that is double layer formed by integuments, testa, the outer layer, and tegmen is the inner coat. So the seed coat is of two types. The outer is called as the testa and the inner one is called as tegmen. The micropyle which is there, the small opening on the seed coat, it facilitates the entry of water and oxygen into the seed for germination. Then helium scar on the seed coat. Seeds are of two types, that is albuminous and non-albuminous, and perisperm, that is the remnant of the nucellus that is persistent. Example is in black pepper. So the walls of the ovary develops into walls of the fruit called pericarp. In true fruit, only ovary contributes in the fruit formation. In false fruit, thalamus also contributes in the fruit formation. So what happens is the ovary will develop into the fruit, and the ovules which are there, that will develop into your seeds, and that will consist of your embryo, which will develop into the new plant after the process of germination. So what is now apomixis? So it is a form of asexual reproduction which mimics the sexual reproduction. Okay, but this is a type of reproduction in plant which is formed without fertilization. So formation of apomestic seeds, that is diploid cell formed without meiosis, develops into embryo without fertilization, and cells of nucellus surrounding the embryo sac into the embryo sac develops into embryos. So this type of apomixis is seen in citrus fruits and in mangoes. Then comes your polyembryony. So what is polyembryony? It is basically occurrence of more than one embryo in the seeds, often associated with apomixis. So in your oranges, that is citrus fruits, polyembryony can be seen, that is more than one embryo inside the seeds. So this was about today's video, that we have covered what is polyembryony, what is apomixis. We have seen the structure of seed. Then we have seen what is embryo, the monocotyledonous and dicotyledonous embryo, and we have seen what is endosperm. And this all comes in the post-fertilization event, that is the events which occurs after the process of fertilization. So thank you for watching today's video. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to the Bodhi Academy.